Okay, so yeah, I made a video 3 days ago about being at risk of redundancy, and yeah, 3 days is it feels like a long time. It's only been 3 days, but it feels like a long time. It's been like it feels for me. It feels like a week or a couple of weeks have gone by because of how much my range of emotions have changed. I remember the first day I was feeling like really like I was feeling disappointed in a way, and I was just like, damn. Um, but at the same time, I was rational because I've been through this kind of thing before, and then I was like, I had another thing happen in my so basically my bank account. Okay, so the funny thing is, I had a lot of savings, and I moved all my savings into an ISA so that I can make that money accumulate. But I'd been overspending because I'd been on holiday recently to Ireland, and basically I didn't realize that I was like so low on my bank account. So that gave me a bit of a fright. So my second day, I was like panicking for like a long time. And then I was like, wait a minute, why am I panicking so much? So I decided to look into my budget, decided to look at, to break it down, and I realized, okay, everything's okay because the reason why I've been spending so much is because I've been deliberately going on holiday. So my actual expenses were actually decent. I can stay pretty well. I can stay on my savings, or if I had any redundancy pay, I can stay for a few months without any alternative employment, which is good. And then, like within the last couple of days, I started shifting. Well, yesterday, I started shifting to actually making a plan and doing the research about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say, and all this stuff. So my mindset's become very positive. I don't feel as worried per se as I was before. I feel more positive, and yeah, I guess a lesson from that is that by practically doing actual research and not panicking, directing all that nervous energy into making a plan kind of sucks up all the nervous energy and fear. So basically, it's like you allow yourself to worry, but you worry last. The first thing you do is make a plan. After making the plan, then you're allowed to worry. But then the funny thing is that when you make the plan, then you don't have any energy left to worry. So right now, I don't have any worry, which is strange, but I'll accept it because it's a positive thing. And then this leads to the metaphysical side of things. So this is this third time, obviously, I'm experiencing something similar to this. This last happened 6 years ago, 2019. And as I said, I was very positive about it back then. I went through a difficult period finding a new job back then, 2019. And I learnt my lesson: never hustle, never try and grind to find a job. Let your vibration be good and do things that you enjoy in life. And then suddenly you just get the right opportunity. But the same thing is for, I'm looking back a few years before that, so 2015, so exactly 4 years before that, and now it'll be 10 years ago. That's when I was let go for my first job. And I remember back then, I didn't understand, the seriousness of it. I was having fun, man. Like I remember when I got let go of that job. Um, yeah, I just took a week off, did some stuff, and then I remember just going to a job seeking a recruitment agency where I was living. I was living in Bedford, and I remember just saying, okay, you know what? Let me just try any job. And yeah, I got an interview for a job which I was actually really qualified for, but they didn't take me on. And then I just got a job in a call center, and I was there for like 2 months, just keeping the money ticking in, so that my savings weren't, or whatever savings or whatever money I had wasn't being affected too much. And eventually I got an amazing job. And back then I remember just, yeah, I was just having fun. And I think I need to return to that mindset. And yeah, the gym, like I was in the gym, like really strong. I was getting, I was, that was, let me give you an idea of how strong I was. I was doing 125 on the bench press for like 2 reps. I was squatting close to 160 for a few reps. Deadlifts were easily close to 180 for like maybe 3 reps. So I was decently strong, but specifically my bench press. Um, this year I haven't been. I've been getting very strong this year. Like my squat has, I've reached 150, which is very good. That's the best in 5 years. But my bench press, obviously, I had an injury. Um, and this year I've managed to figure out a way to resolve the injury. And now it's starting to get back up, but it's nowhere near that. I'm like benching close grip bench press, like 85 kilograms for like 5 reps, maybe 2 sets, which is not really that strong. But all that, what I'm trying to say is that when you get really strong, like back then, when 2015, it just changes your mindset. It gives you like a really positive mindset. So during this period, this consulting period, when they're deciding my redundancy and whatever, yeah, I'm gonna keep on getting strong in the gym. That's my plan, and just see my mindset and positivity grow. Um, Metaphysically as well. This year, these past 12 months have been very interesting. One of the things maybe I mentioned, I've talked about this in my previous video. I don't know. I don't really watch back, but one of the things I mentioned is that when well, yeah, when I was on a retention, one of the things that has motivated me to stay on retention is so that I don't experience bad luck and so that I don't lose my job. But despite being so strict on retention, the scenarios happened where I could lose my job. And also, this last year has been surprising. I don't know. I think, when I think about this, I'm thinking about this right now. If it wasn't for retention, if I hadn't retained for like, um, if I like, so that over the past 12 months, maybe I've released twice in like the past 12 months. I'm thinking maybe twice, once or twice. If it wasn't for retention, man, the things I've been through the last 12 months, I don't know how I'll be able to handle them because I can listen for you. Injuries. The last 12 months, people don't understand how much I've been dealing with injuries and how it's made me look weak or whatever, even in my videos. My back. I injured my lower back because I was doing the wrong exercise. I was doing um, these exercises where you kind of roll your back, you roll forwards, and you kind of it's good. It's a good exercise, but because I didn't have a strong muscles in my lower back, because I never do back extensions, I was essentially lengthening my lumbar spine, and basically it caused an injury where I was just like walking around with sore back for like a few months, and then I thought about it through my subconscious, and my subconscious told me, okay, why don't you just try doing the back extensions while lying on your stomach? I did that for a few weeks. That solved the issue, and then I started doing it in the gym. Didn't have any issues anymore. So the back injury, then I had a knee injury. All my days, I had that for like a year nearly. I couldn't do squats. I had to do dumbbell squats, and it was so weird. Like, I didn't know how to resolve it until finally my long term problem revealed itself. I've never done hamstring curls, never. So I started doing hamstring curls, working my hamstrings, and suddenly the pain disappeared. So now I know how to resolve that pain. So my back, my knee, my Achilles heel, all my days. My ankle had a really sore Achilles. I couldn't run properly, whatever. And that happened in July last year, and that was so devastating, so painful. I thought I was gonna tear my Achilles because I even went to the emergency room. But yeah, basically I had tendonitis in there, and I managed to get a program to resolve it, which even includes plyometrics. So yeah, there's that, and then my shoulder, my left shoulder actually. My right shoulder injured like 2018, but my left shoulder, I was just having problems. Whenever I reached a certain level of my bench press, I would start getting pain in my shoulder. And it was just severe, like my left shoulder. So it happened 3 times. So maybe like every 2 months, I'm getting stronger, I reach a certain peak, I get the shoulder pain and I can't progress anymore and it's painful. Now I have to drop back down. I tried again, drop back down. Every time I tried, I'd introduce a new exercise. So I started doing like reverse planks for the first time. It resolved it kind of. I started doing behind the neck presses. They always kind of resolved it, but it still came back. And then after that, I started doing behind the neck pull ups. That resolved it. But then when I started switching to slow behind the neck pull ups, didn't it kind of went back to pain again. So I was back at square one. And then this year, I was like, you know what, I give up. If this last thing doesn't work, then I basically give up on bench press and getting my shoulders in good order. And my subconscious revealed solution, which is to do rotator cuff exercises, like lying on my stomach on the side and then doing lying external rotations, and also just working my rear delts. I saw someone in the gym doing it, and I just clicked. Have I ever worked my rear delts by doing rear delt flies? Since doing those two exercises, I haven't had any issues with my bench press. So yeah, my shoulder. So I told you, my back, my knee, my shoulder, my Achilles heel, um, my fingers. I was doing these finger push-ups. I was doing them too often in the week. Basically, I was doing them every other day, and they started giving me like tendonitis kind of feeling. And eventually, I realized, I just need to do like maybe twice a week and space it out, like 3 days between them. What else? My knee issue reoccurred this year as well, because it's after holiday. I hadn't been doing any hamstring curls for a few weeks because of the holiday and being ill, and it recurred a little bit. So my squat has gone back down. But since doing hamstring curls, it's starting to come back up again. So that's just the injury front. Then we've got the work stress. The work stress, like, yeah, maybe my theory is potentially that people have been trying to push me out this job before redundancy, and that's probably what I've been experiencing, because the people who were so friendly at the start of this job like 4 years ago, they just started becoming evil, like really, really bad, doing things that are just, like, for me, shocking and really toxic. So yeah, I suffered through it 3 times. We had this thing called software releases, and because of my role, I'm heavily involved in that, and basically had like 3 of them, and each time things were getting worse and worse, and it got so bad for me that there were times where, like before work or on a Sunday or certain days, I'll just be lying in bed for like 10 minutes or something, or 20 minutes, just like, oh, shoot, I've got to go to work, I've got to face work, I've got to log into the laptop, and just, oh, I just felt depressed having to face that. And that's the first time in my life I've ever felt that sort of burnout. So that's just, yeah, there's that, injuries, there's a work stress, which is obviously this redundancy thing as well, which is at the end. There is things breaking down. I talked about in my previous 2 videos about electronics failing. This year, my fridge is broken down. Had to get that replaced. Washing machine is broken down recently. My phone, um, my car twice has had issues. Um, Air conditioning unit didn't work. Had to get that replaced with a new one, and I had to pay out of pocket because the warranty was out. Um, so yeah, work stress, electronics failing, injuries, um, and yeah, and being ill as well. I've been sick in the last month, last 2 months. I've been sick twice, which is usually there's a space of like at least 8 months or a long time between being sick once and being sick another time. But yeah, I've been sick recently twice, and it's actually hindered my gym progress because I was so sick I couldn't go to the gym. I was literally had fevers. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that I've been through a lot of stuff, um, and I'm thinking about it. You know what? When I think about it, the retention. If I hadn't been retaining for like such a long streak, I would have broken down. I wouldn't be able to handle it, honestly, because it's given me like a lot of reserve drive to keep on going even through the tough times. And perhaps that's the reason I've made a theory. So basically, I'm open to dating. So I gave up dating, but I'm open to meeting a woman. I'm open to finding one. And this year, it's been very unusual. Like, I haven't received the kind of signals that I would normally get. And it's been very subdued, the signals I'd get. And I've been making a theory, I've been trying to theorize why this is happening. And one of the things I think is a theory that I have, that women are actually trying to help you. When women reject you, it's not necessarily because they're unattractive. Subconsciously, metaphysically, they could actually want to give you that space, not to drain your energy, because you need that energy to go through whatever you're going to go through. It's a very long-winded, copy way of thinking about it, but I find that when periods of times when girls are rejecting me or they're not into me, those periods of time, I tend to have to go through something where I need my energy, I need my sexual energy. So it doesn't make sense if they actually do care for you. It doesn't make sense for them to drain you, because you're going to need the energy to go through whatever you're going to go through. And then this leads to my last point. What happens when you retain for such a long time and you're going through a lot of pain? What happens at the end? I've had several of these kind of periods of time. In 2015, when I first started NoFap, I wasn't retaining that long, maybe 30 days here, 20 days here, 14 days here. But that was enough for me. And obviously, I went through the stress of losing a job and the toxic work environment. But that was enough for me to get the good luck of the next very good job. Same thing in 2019 when I lost a job. I went for a long streak. That was the longest streak I'd gone for. I think I went for at least 3 months, nearly 4 months. And it gave me that job, which was in a great city, and gave me that ability to move back to a city which I love. And the last time this happened, so basically the last streak, really long streak that I remember leading to something good in the end, was before this job. So I'd gone on a 5-month streak. This was 2020, 2021. I'd gone on a 5-month streak. I was going through a lot of stress in that job. My new manager was just, didn't have a thing for me. He didn't like me. He didn't like my confidence. And I was retained for 5 months. And eventually I got offered this job, which I'm in now, which for me was like the best, like doubled my salary. Like I had so much better work environment. And now here I am. I've been here for 4 years in this job. I've managed to accumulate streaks where it's like multiple months, like 8 months, 12 months, 8 months, 6 months, like multiple month streaks. So obviously my potent energy is much, much more. And I believe in this thing called delayed gratification, or delayed rewards, where the more you go through something that's a sacrifice, that's meant for the future, even though the response may be delayed, the better the response. So I don't know what kind of amazing thing, that's why I'm positive about this. I don't know what's going to be waiting for me at the end, because throughout all this stress that I went through in this last 12 months, injuries, work stress, electronics failing, all these things, I didn't relapse. I didn't turn to relapse. I could have easily broken down and gone to relapse, but I didn't. I retained and kept on going. So perhaps my reward is waiting for me, and I don't know what that's going to be. I really don't know. But that's the way I think about it. That at the end of a streak, where especially when you've been through a lot of stuff and you kept strong and you haven't relapsed, the rewards are exponential. Like a 5-month streak to get to this job doubled my salary and allowed me to work in an environment where I was treated finely with the kind of respect I always sought out. Obviously things have broken down, but what's next? Who knows? Anyway, this has been a long ass video and a lot of my thoughts, and I had to get them out there. I feel more positive now. I'm feeling more rational, and we'll see how this goes. Peace.